I was diagnosed with depression about a year ago. Um, Before that, I was one of those guys who didn't think depression was real. I was like, it's not real. It doesn't exist. Just go to the gym, stuff like that. But then the doctors, they put me on antidepressants. Antidepressants. And I used to have I was pretty critical of those as well. I heard a lot of bad things. But since I've been on them, it's amazing. It's amazing. My mood is like this now. It's like just normal. Just normal. Normally I'd be like right up here, I'd be super happy and optimistic, but then like a minor setback, and I'm down here in melancholic despair. What's even the point of living? I don't understand. Why am I here? I'm just bringing everyone down. But then since I've been on the antidepressants, it's been great. I'm like a new person. I'm like a new person. So if your doctors and that have said you're depressed and stuff, and you want to try it, and they want to try antidepressants, and you're reluctant, at least give them a try. You don't have to be on them forever. There are some side effects. I haven't really experienced any myself, but they do exist. They do exist. So talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor. But anyway, I was diagnosed with depression about a year ago, and I've been dealing with it. I've been dealing with it pretty well. I think I've been doing a pretty good job. But recently, something happened. Something happened, and I was once again plunged into a pit of despair. It is now that I'm out of that pit. It's kind of funny. It's kind of a funny story. So about 3 weeks ago, I was on YouTube, and I saw a trailer for, like a trailer for a new Stargate SG1 series, which has since been cancelled, which is a different story. They cancelled it because the fans liked it too much and they want a new audience. I'm like, what's wrong with it? But anyway, that's a different story. And I remember watching it when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. But of course, when I was younger, it was on weekly TV. It only came out once a week, and it was always changing channels and stuff like that. It was annoying. I couldn't really get into watching it. Plus, when it did come out, I was like a teenager, early 20s, so I wasn't really big into watching a lot of TV back then. I was into drinking and other stuff. So even though I'd watched the odd episode here and there, and I enjoyed it, I never really got into the series totally. So I thought that seeing the trailer reminded me of the show. So I thought, you know what? I'll see if it's on Netflix. And sure enough, they had every season of Stargate SG1 on Netflix. So I'm like, I'm going to watch it. So at first I was like, I'll get the wife. I see if the wife wants to watch the show with me. And so I put on the first episode, the first SG1 episode, and it's like full nudity in that. Like Daniel's wife was like just completely naked on a slab, and of course the wife looking at me and was like, "Oh, is this why you wanted to watch this show?" I'm like, "No. I completely forgot about this." But thankfully, after the first episode, the pilot episode, I'm guessing it was, that it was a lot more PG. But ultimately, the wife wasn't interested in watching it at all. She's not really a big sci-fi fan, so great, I'll watch it myself. So over 3 weeks, I watched every single episode of Stargate SG1. Now, every episode, the total runtime for Stargate SG1, which is 10 seasons. I actually thought it was 11 seasons. But it's 10 seasons. So we got to the end of the 10th season, and that's a total runtime of 160 hours. I watched 160 hours of Stargate SG1 in 3 weeks, and I thoroughly enjoyed it 100%. It was like a great show. I love those old monster story of the week shows, but it was just really good. But then, because I thought it was 11 seasons, I got to the end of the last season of episode 10 of season 10, and it's over. It's done. It's gone. Like for 3 weeks, I always had something to do. If I had a spare hour or 45 minutes or whatever, I'd watch an episode. The wife and kids would go to bed. I'd watch 3, 4, 5 episodes. I was able to watch an episode and work out in my lounge. There's always something to do, and it was to hang out with my friends from Stargate SG1, and they watch their adventures as they take on the gold and the replicators and the Ori, and then it comes to the end. Now what do I do? Now what do I do? I was so depressed. I was like, oh no, I can't watch my Friends anymore. Like what? And they never finished this. I never knew what happened. What happened? Did they beat the Ori? I don't know. I don't know. It just finished. And so I was plunged into a pit of despair and depression. I thought it was yeah, I was really depressed for about a day or two. And then like I spent the next day like on just scrolling through Netflix and Amazon and that, trying to find a similar sort of series that I could watch, and there's just nothing out there, you know. Star Trek, I've watched those. I think I watched Stargate: The Next Generation. I think I've watched every episode like 2 or 3 times, right? You know, and I really like that Vikings show as well, and I've watched that 2 or 3 times. The Last Kingdom, I really like that. Uhtred, Son of Uhtred, I've watched that twice, I think, every episode. But yeah, Stargate, I really enjoyed it, but now it's gone, and I've got nothing else to watch. Like me and the missus at the moment, we're watching the X-Files, but I can't binge that because I have to watch it with her, and she's got a job and stuff. I don't have a job, so I can watch my show all the time, but so I have to wait till she gets home from work and we watch an episode, and it doesn't always our time, you know, when we want to watch an episode doesn't always coincide, you know, so it's taking a bit longer. But so we've been watching that for probably 6 months now, and we're only up to season 3. But yeah, Stargate, great show. And I just thought it was funny, like I got so into that show that when it ended somewhat prematurely, because I thought there was 11 series, you know, I was like, oh, what do I do now? And I started feeling symptoms of depression from my show finishing. But you know, don't be sad that it's over. Just be happy that you got to enjoy it, you know? And I enjoyed that show, and I can always watch it again. I'm sure I missed some stuff, so I can always watch it again later. I'm probably not going to watch it again right now. But yeah, it's just a great show. If you haven't watched Stargate SG-1, just watch it. It can be a bit cheesy, a bit campy, but, you know, and you do have to have some suspension of disbelief, because, you know, the intergalactic space heroes that go through a wormhole and save the world, you know. But yeah, I just really liked the show. I really liked the characters all really worked well together. Like you had MacGyver, and then you had Kratos as well, and then you had Samantha Carter, and then you had Daniel Jackson, you know. It's great. And then even in the last 2 series, there was that series where Daniel went away as well for a season, and so you had Jonas. He was great too. I like Jonas. And then in the last 2 series, you had Jack retired, basically. And so you had Cameron Mitchell and Vala Maldoran. They were good. It was great. It was just a great show. And it had great episodes too. And, you know, it wasn't always action. Like one of my favorite episodes was Joe Citizen. It was this barber. He goes to a garage sale and he finds an ancient relic from the ancients, and it just looks like a stone, but when he holds it, he sees through the eyes of Colonel Jack O'Neill, and he gets to see the adventures and escapades of Stargate SG-1, right? And so he starts telling everyone these stories, and then he starts writing them down, and then of course no one, you know, it ruins his life. Like people think he's crazy. He never gets any contracts for his stories, and then, you know, he loses his wife, loses his business and stuff, and he hits rock bottom, and he goes to Jack's house because he's seen Jack on the TV, you know, like Jack was on the TV, and he's like, tells his wife, "There's Jack O'Neill. That's the guy I've been telling you about." And of course, everyone thinks he's a crazy man. So he ends up going to Jack O'Neill's house with a gun. It's a fake gun, and telling him. And then of course, Jack's like, "How does he know all this stuff? Like, he knows everything." And so he gets this. They take him and the stone back to SG-1, and they figure it out. Oh, it's an ancient's communications device, right? And so Jack ends up going and explaining to Joe's wife that he wasn't insane and everything was true. But the funny thing is, at the end, they were like, well, shouldn't they have gone both ways? Like, if Joe was seeing Jack's life, wouldn't Jack have been seeing Joe's life? And he was, but he hadn't told anyone. And why didn't you tell us? He's like, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was relaxing watching his ordinary barber life, right? It was a break from having to, fight aliens and save the world. I was just watching a barber do his business, and he enjoyed it. It was just funny. There was some pretty good jokes in there. Another 2 episodes I liked actually were the Felga episodes. So there was a scientist called Felga, and he was a bit useless and stuff. So he idolized SG-1, and he went on adventures, and he ended up helping them and saving the day and stuff as well. But the thing is, it was done so well. I still don't know. It was still ambiguous. I don't know if those episodes actually happened, or if they were just figments of Felga's imagination. And I like it that way. I like not knowing if they actually happened or if they were just like Felga's fantasies. And it did have good jokes too. Well, one of my favorite jokes was there was an episode where Vala Maldoran's father come to Earth, and he was telling everyone he had tickets for a show called the Virginia Dialogues. Of course, he got it wrong. It was because back when this show came out, there was a thing out called the Vagina Monologues, where a lady just talked about her vagina at a show. And so at the end, they're like, "Oh, where's Teal'c? Oh, Teal'c, he's gone to a show." And of course, it was the Virginia Dialogues, but of course, it shows Teal'c walking into a what do you call it, a theater with all these women, and then this woman just starts talking about her vagina, and poor Teal'c sitting there very uncomfortable. There was some good Teal'c episodes. There was one where Teal'c got to live off base for a while, and it just shows him dressed like a 70s pimp, and then these bullies try to hurt this guy, and he just beats the crap out of them. That was good. That was a good episode. Yeah, it's just a great show. I really liked it. I liked all the characters. I like the storylines. Like I said, it does need some suspension of disbelief. Like, sometimes I like to partake in the devil's lettuce. It helps with cramps and spasticity of my leg due to my medical condition. But the problem with that is it removes suspension of disbelief. But shows like Stargate and Star Trek, I can still watch. Right? I can still watch. As for something, I don't know what it is. Like, if I watch a show that's sort of set in reality and is meant to be like real, I can't watch that because suspension of disbelief's gone, and it's just people pretending to be normal. But I can watch, for some reason, people pretending to be intergalactic space heroes. So I don't know. It's just something about my brain that doesn't quite work. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. I was go watch Stargate if you haven't watched it. It's a great show. Just binge it. But I just thought that was funny that getting so engrossed in a show and just binging it over 2-3 weeks, 160 hours of viewing, getting to know these people. You feel like, because you watch them so much, it's like they're just always part of your life for those 2-3 weeks, and then of course when the show finishes, they're gone. It's like you feel a sense of loss. It's really quite bizarre how our brains work like that. I mean, obviously I am aware enough to realize what's going on, so I was able to drag myself out of it, but I can imagine some people, it might actually really drive them into depression. They might get really sad and feel a real sense of loss when their show finishes. So yeah, be careful with that, guys. But yeah, get amongst it. Go watch Stargate SG-1 if you are feeling depressed or whatever. Don't be ashamed. Go see a doctor. Get on the antidepressants. At least give them a try. Obviously, there's more healthy ways you can deal with it. Like some people can. I think there's different spectrum of depression. Like, there's some people who have got a less severe form, could probably drag themselves out of it with some exercise, healthy eating, and just working on their mindset. But other people, when it gets a bit more severe, you might need some medicinal help. But you don't have to be on them forever. Like, I've only been on them antidepressants for about 8 months, I think. And I've noticed a great improvement. Now, I'm not intending on staying on them forever, and I'm not taking a huge amount. I was talking to someone I know, and they were taking multiple pills a day, antidepressants, whereas I only take one a day, and it's done the trick. It's just got my it's just flattened out my mood, and I'm able to stay a bit on task and to you know, self-regulate a bit better, because I'm not constantly fluctuating between high and low. So if you do need them, don't be ashamed, but just work with your doctor and stuff like that. And yeah, no, I'm not telling you to take them. I'm saying listen to your doctor, and just don't be ashamed, and just be open to trying different things that your doctors say. But yeah, I don't know what this video is really about. It's about how a sad old unemployed guy got so engrossed in a show that when it finished he felt a sense of loss and depression. But yeah, that's basically it. But go watch Stargate, man. It's a great show. I love it. Some great episodes, like great characters. It's just so good. But they need to make shows like that again. I don't know why they don't. Like, I was really disappointed with the Witcher series. I understand they wanted to keep it in line with the books and stuff, but as a TV show, you don't need to do that. They could have done a monster or problem story of the week type show, and there's worked the overarching story into it. They could have adapted the books into a story monster of the week show, and it would have been great. And they could have done multiple seasons, and it would have been amazing. But the problem with streaming these days, they want to make these really long movies. They just make really long movies and then split them. Now, they can work, and single narrative shows can work as well. I mean, I think Night of the Seven Kingdoms recently was a good example of that. But they didn't bloat it. They don't make it longer than it needed to be. It was just very short and concise and got to the point and was a great show. Another example is Lost. There's a single narrative show, really. I mean, there's a lot of different things happening, but the whole point was, what is the island? And that was a great show. So you can do it if you've got good writing, but I think a lot of the shows these days is not very good. That's why things like Netflix and other streaming services are littered with series that are only 1 or 2 seasons and finish on with you not knowing what's happening, because they're not that interesting, really. And so even the people that do get into those shows, they end up lost. What do I do now? I want to know what happened to these characters that I've invested all this time into, But yeah, so hopefully there will be a renaissance, an entertainment renaissance soon, because at the moment it's a bit dreary. There's a lot of money in movies and video games that I think is unnecessary. I don't know how movies can cost $300, $400, $500 million to make. It's ridiculous. You could probably make a good movie for $50 million. Come on, guys. And then if you only make 200 million, then you're profiting, right? But these guys now, they're making movies for $200-300 million. Where's all the money going for an hour and a half of entertainment? And then they're not making their money back. So and same with video games as well. Like, we've got great examples. You had Clear Obscura, that was made for quite cheap, and that was a great game. But then other games, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars, like Concord, hundreds of millions of dollars on that, and it lasted a week. And then where's the money going? It's just wasting money and not providing good entertainment. It's like nobody's winning in this situation. So hopefully there'll be an entertainment renaissance soon. And yeah, but anyway, that's how that's how I triggered a mini relapse into depression from binge watching Stargate SG1. But get amongst it. Go watch Stargate. It's a great show. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.